Hey John, hey Mary, how you doing? That's awesome. How was your trip? Fantastic. Did you like the RV? Cool. So you went to Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, and now you're back home in Jersey. That's awesome. Great. Well, great. Well, we have four key areas, of course, that we discussed in our last meeting. So I just want to recap, and then we'll go through everything. I'm really excited to meet with you. So we want to look at potentially reducing any estate and gift tax liability, right? And ensure that your estate planning documents are in good order. Two, review your various insurance policies, contracts, and discuss the implications of maybe seeing if long-term care is a need. Three, reduce personal income taxes if possible. And four, maybe look at diversifying or reallocating your portfolio that meets your short, mid, and even long-term goals. So cool. Okay. So overall, I'm just going to share the screen here with you. Can you see that okay? Okay, awesome. So you did a fantastic job. That goes without saying. Your net worth is over $14 million. That's really, really exciting. Congratulations. As an entrepreneur myself, I know it was a lot of hard work and certainly a team effort, and you did a fantastic job there. So we'll look at a couple things there in terms of you can see your ratio. Your ratio is pretty good. I do think, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment, with regards to the CDs. I don't think that's a direction you want to look at long term. I think when they mature, we can look at moving those into a different program. Of course, you're going to have your monthly installment payment coming in, John. So for the next 6.5 years, I guess, you'll be in solid shape there with cash coming in every month. So we'll look at your risk management, your investment planning, retirement planning, income tax planning, and then estate planning, which will kind of be a team effort, I guess, if you will. So we'll talk about that. So let's first look at your insurance needs. Your car policies look good. The Medicare, the vacation home policy there looks good too. I think the only addressable concern, John and Mary, is the policy on your primary home. The value of your house has appreciated, and the coverage amount is like $400,000. I think we want to bump that up to, I would say, somewhere around $720, and that's 80% minimum. So I think you'll want to look at getting with your insurance broker and seeing if they can bump that up. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, awesome. And we'll have everything itemized there, so we can kind of have a list of the areas that we want to address moving forward into our next meeting, okay? As far as your policies go, you've done a great job. Our recommendation is usually to have life insurance until you're self-insured. And in this case, you are. So essentially, you could consider keeping your policies if you wanted to. You could do something we recommend called a 1035 exchange. We can explain that. Or we could look at gifting the cash value. And that might be the best option. There's something called Cromney notes that you can use, and you can work with an estate planner on that. So once again, we'll have a list for you guys. The goal is to, from the first meeting, take everything, and now we have it all, and now we'll kind of whittle down your list And then when we wrap up shortly, you'll just have a little bit of homework, as will we, for our next meeting. That would also help you avoid some estate taxes there too. We also recommend an umbrella policy. Have you heard of that? It's just basically a policy above all your policies. And so you may want to get a couple million on that and get a quote run for that. It's just basically added protection, you know. They say, what, more money, more problems. So just in case, you may want to just look at that. It's something that I think I would recommend for the two of you. As far as your long-term care goes, or addressing the need for long-term care, John and Mary, I think it's kind of like a life insurance strategy, where if you built up assets, there might be a need for it, but you might be self-insured. So I think with the amount of cash you have, the premiums are pretty high. And as you get older, it gets really expensive. So, you know, maybe if you had considered long-term care in your early 50s, so, you know, 20 years ago, 18 years ago, give or take, it might have been more affordable. I think the better strategy is just have the expectation. Most people need it for 2 to 3 years. It could be 70 to 100 grand a year. But I think if you evaluate it and you're both really in good health, I mean, anything can happen anytime, we know that. But I think we're okay in that respect, that you don't need to explore getting a policy. Any questions on that so far? Okay, great. So let's look at your investments. Now, as far as your investments go, you have the two categories. You have the non-qualified, which is kind of like non-retirement, and then you have the qualified. So on the non-qualified side, you have about 940 in stock, 2.9 in mutual funds for about 3.8 million. And then on the qualified side, John, you have your 401k, a little over $1 million, and Mary, you have your 403b, about 545,000. Is that all accurate so far? Okay, great. And by the way, as we go through this, if anything has changed, and I don't mean small fluctuations in your balance, I mean anything significant that's changed since our last meeting or our next meeting, if anything significant changes, just please let me know. So what do we recommend? I would say stock A has not done too well, right? So I would recommend you could sell that at a loss, and that could help you on your taxes a little bit there, John and Mary. The international, I think we could look at moving that to growth. And also your future contributions could also go into a growth portfolio, as well as maybe some other options or even some other products within that. You could also look at selling the bond and getting some tax-free municipal bonds that would save you on taxes, and you'd probably have a net higher return after the deduction. So that's also something that we can recommend. Mary, as far as your 403b goes, that's in what's called a target fund. You're probably aware of that? Okay, great. So it's 2025, which is where we are now, target fund. So you're gonna get very little growth by design, because it was probably something you picked 10, 15, 20 years ago, and here we are. So we can look at rolling that over, and based on what you had mentioned in the first meeting, we have something called ESG, environmental, social, and governance. There's some growth funds there that avoid some of the bad stuff in the world. So we can absolutely look into doing that when we get together next time. We'll have some materials to show you, okay? Also, what can we look at? We can look at maybe making some qualified charitable distributions up to 100 grand to charity. and that can be tax-free and reduce your estate. John, you can participate in that now, being that you're 70 and a half. Mary would have to wait a little bit. John, I think you mentioned you like to give already, and you guys give to the Salvation Army, right? So we can look at doing that too. Income tax planning, let's see. I think in terms of your installment loan, you do have some of that subject to capital gains, but it's manageable. Let's talk a little bit about the stamp, okay? Now, when the stamp is passed on generationally, there's some step-ups that go in. So even though your basis was 600K, now it's worth 2.5 million, right? Awesome. Awesome. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? However, if you were to sell that, that would be a huge gain and a big tax. So there's two options that I think we may want to look at with that. And obviously, you want to keep it safe. I'm sure that's covered. But you could hold on to it, John, and until you pass away. If you pass away before Mary, it would go to her at a step-up basis at 2.6 million. And then I think it may make sense to either pass it on to the kids, or Mary could use it to fund some charities. So let's say it goes from 2.6 to 2.7. That would be a lot more advantageous than selling it now with a $1.9 million gain. Okay, does that make sense? So obviously you don't really need the cash right now, so that's probably the best strategy there. Okay, we're getting towards the tail end. Estate planning, you're not subject to any estate tax. That's a good deal. That's good news. But if your portfolio grows and as the installment payments come in, you might go over the limit. So we may want to look at donating some assets in the future. I don't think it's something that we need to explore for 25, but we can continue to talk about that. Most of your income now is pretty predictable. Okay. You don't have a will, a living will, a physician's directive, power of attorney. That's really, really important. I can't reiterate that enough. So I think that would be very, very important to address. And I think it'd be very important for you to meet an estate planning attorney ASAP. That's probably number one in our priorities, okay? Looked at your life policies. The beneficiaries are set up right. The contingents also are set up right. So that's good. Any questions? Did I go too fast? Did I go not fast enough? Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, we could do that with the CDs. We could actually put a bunch into the 529 plans for the grandbabies, up to 380,000 combined. So that's something we should take a look at for sure. So great question, Mary. Okay. Let me see here. No, just on your primary home. Your vacation home, in my opinion, has adequate coverage on the policy there, right? Yep. Okay. Fantastic. So what's our action plan? Okay. I guess it's really 3 steps with some sub points there. Step 1, meet an estate planning attorney, I think that's probably your highest priority. And within the next 7 to 14 days, if you have someone, I would set an appointment and go over that with them. Okay, get the wills done, the power of attorneys, get all of that done. I can't stress how important that is. Step 2, increase the coverage on your primary home. Right, the climate is crazy these days. So yeah, you may want to take care of that sooner than later for sure. Step 3 would be when the CDs mature, reallocate those. Normally, financial institutions give you like 5 days before or after, so it'd be good to know, and we'll make note as well, so you can let me know when those mature. And then I think for our next appointment, we'll look at diversifying your portfolios, and we'll look at rolling over Mary's 403B. And that's basically it. I mean, congratulations. You did a fantastic job. This is now time to enjoy the fruit of many years of your hard labor, and continue to spoil the grandbabies, right? I don't have any yet, but my son is getting married next week. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, she's his high school sweetheart, so we love her. They've been together like 10 years. And then, no, my daughter, she's younger. She's 20. So it's just her and her brother. He's 28. So yeah, so we have check off the box. One married, the other one's halfway through college. So we're almost done there. Yeah. So any other questions? For sure. Yeah, when we get back together, we'll have a few. We have almost too many options, so my role is to kind of whittle down those options and show you a couple things that would make sense for you with regards to your various investments and your retirement accounts. So yeah, and sure. The structure varies a little bit, so it depends on the product. I don't want to sound wishy-washy, John and Mary, but it depends. We have some vehicles called managed accounts. We have mutual funds. We have some annuities. We have some buffered stuff that we use that have zero fees or zero net explicit fees. So instead of being too technical today, I figured we'd just kind of recap, put together our action plan, make sure we're all on the same page, and then you can handle getting with the estate planning attorney and bumping up your insurance on the home and letting me know about when the CDs mature, and maybe we can look exactly at your statements. You can get me those statements, and then we can reallocate your portfolio and go from there. So I'm excited. Appreciate the opportunity to meet with you again. I look forward to building a relationship with you, as well as the kids, and maybe even the grandbabies one day. They do grow up pretty fast. So anything else, John, Mary? Awesome. Great. Why don't we put in some time? Would it make sense to do next week, or is the week after better? Okay. The week after? Okay, fantastic. Okay, how's the early in the week or later in the week? Okay. Okay, great. So you want to do Monday, let's see, that'd be the 15th. Okay. Around the same time, let me see. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, we'll do the same time. Of course, I'll touch base with you next week just to confirm everything. We'll get back together in 2 weeks, and I really look forward to working with both of you, okay? Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, take care. All right, bye-bye.